Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. The title of today's lesson is Yah creates both good and evil. Once again, today's lesson is entitled Yah creates both good and evil. There's many things that's going on throughout the earth today where we're seeing evil being brought upon the nations, i.e. the coronavirus and different types of violence and things like that, where people are being killed or being made sick and things of the like. The Most High is bringing his wrath upon the nations. Now, if you let someone who is not familiar with this Torah and that's not involved in the Most High's word, knowing it and doing it, if you let them tell it, they'll say that Satan is doing all this evil and Satan is responsible for evil. And this is a figment of one's imagination. And this is nothing but blaspheming the Most High. So we will get to this lesson, making it plain that the Most High is responsible for both good and evil. Once again, brace yourselves, tighten up your jaws. Do not turn to the left or to the right, or you will get hit in the mouth. We are to walk the straight and narrow way of the Most High's commandments. Now, we will begin this lesson in Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 45, and we will read verse 7. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. And verse 7 of Isaiah chapter 45 reads, I form the light, that's wisdom, and create darkness, that's evil. I make peace, that's righteousness, and create evil, that's wickedness. I, Yah, do all these things. So, when you see someone who is extremely wise, it's the Most High. When you see someone who's extremely wicked, that's the Most High. All right? And that is evil, and that's peace. When someone has peace, they're living in a state of contentment. And they have wisdom. That is light. When you see someone who has no peace, he's always troubled, living in a state of turmoil. That's the Most High as well. So we are to remember those things. Now, let's move over to Amos. Amos chapter 3. Move over to Amos. Amos chapter 3, and we'll read verse 6. And Amos chapter 3, verse 6 reads, Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Now, in the days of old, when there was a time of conflict and war, the priests would blow the trumpets. That alerted all Israel that it was a time of trouble to assemble themselves for war. Once again, verse 6 reads of Amos chapter 3, Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and Yah hath not done it? So this is Amos making it plain that when there's evil in a city, in a country, in a home, anywhere, it's the Most High that has done it. It is not Satan. So we get this thing clear. Now let's move over to Deuteronomy. And we'll be moving around from the front of the book to the back of the book to the middle of the book to make this lesson clear that it is the Most High responsible for both good and evil when you see it. Deuteronomy chapter 32. Deuteronomy chapter 32, and we will read verse 39. And Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 9 reads, verse 39 reads, See now that I, singular, even I, singular, am he, singular, and there is no God, lowercase, idol with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Now, the Most High is making it plain that he doesn't have any sidekicks with him. There's no son called JC with him. And he's making it plain that none can deliver out of his hand. So you see the Most High bringing evil upon the nations of the earth with this coronavirus. It's killing them off, many of them. Now, no one can deliver anyone out of the hands of the Most High. So these nations may call on their idols, and it will not serve them. It will fail them, for it is a graven image. It is an abomination. It is an accursed thing. So when you see evil in the city, evil in your homes, and you are troubled, the person that's sending this evil your way is the Most High. And if you expect any reprieve from it, any relief from it, you are to turn to the Most High, because it is Him that is sending evil after you or against you. And that is when you turn, face Jerusalem, lift your hands in prayer, because you may be doing something in error that's causing the Most High to move against you and not move for you. So these are things that we must consider in times of trouble. All right. Now let's move to 1 Samuel. We'll go to 1 Samuel, and we will deal with chapter 2. Chapter 2 of 1 Samuel. All right. We're in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. And verse 6 of 1 Samuel chapter 2 reads, Yah killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave, which is the pit, and bringeth up. All right, now, so the Most High, look at the situation with Moshe and Joshua, or Joshua, Moshe's servant. Moshe was brought down to the pit, to the grave. Moshe was killed. He died before he could make it into the promised land, because he did not sanctify the Most High Yah at the waters of Meribah. Okay, so he was brought down. However, though the Most High brought Moshe down, he also raised Yeshua, or Joshua, the son of Nun. He rose him up. So the Most High can bring you down to the pit, the grave, and he can also raise you up to a higher stature. Okay, so he is responsible for both. Okay, Moshe and Aaron, both, they were done away with. They were eliminated. They were not allowed to go into the promised land because they would not sanctify the Most High Yah. They put themselves before the Most High, which is a sin. And so therefore they were not allowed to go into the land. However, though those two men were brought down, Joshua, the son of Nun, he was raised up or lifted up. So you're seeing the Most High do both things at once. He brought one man down, rose another man up, or both brought two men down, both Moshe and his brother Aaron. Okay? So we see how that works and how that comes into play. Let's move over to let's stay in 1 Samuel. Let's move to chapter 16. Chapter 16 of 1 Samuel. We will read verse 14. And verse 14 reads, But the spirit of Yah departed from Saul. Saul, who is the Most High's anointed, who is the first governor of the children of Israel. And an evil spirit from Yah troubled him. Now, let's consider this. The latter part of this verse states clearly, and an evil spirit from Yah troubled him. Didn't say an evil spirit from Satan troubled him. So the Most High sent an evil spirit upon Saul that troubled Saul, because Saul refused to obey the words of the Most High. And with the Most High's laws, his statutes, and his judgments, and his precepts, whenever you refuse to adhere to law, there's a punishment attached to that wickedness. Okay, and that punishment is what's known as judgment, a righteous judgment. So because Saul refused to obey the commandments of Yah, he was punished. And the Most High took his Holy Spirit from his anointed Saul and placed a spirit upon him to trouble him, an evil spirit. So you understand that. Now, let's move over to 2 Samuel. We'll move to 2 Samuel, and we will read verse 1 of chapter 24. Chapter 24 of 2 Samuel and verse 1 of that chapter reads, "And again the anger of Yah was kindled against Israel." The Most High was upset for what Israel was doing. His anger was kindled against us. And he moved David against them to say, "Go, number Israel and Judah." Remember, Israel is the northern kingdom. Judah is the southern kingdom. The whole encompassing both the lower and the upper, the south and the north, is all referred to as Israel. The whole. But once we deal with the split nation, we're dealing with northern Israel, Ephraim, Samaria, or it's called Israel, or the lower area known as Jerusalem, Judah, or Zion. Okay, that would be the south. Okay, so the Most High put a spirit on David to move David to number the children of Israel, because the Most High was upset with the children of Israel. So the Most High put this spirit upon David to do this thing. Now keep in mind, this thing is a sin. To number the children of Israel is a grave sin. All right, keep those things in mind. Now let's jump down to verse 10, same chapter. And we'll read verse 10 through verse 17. And verse 10 reads, we're in the same chapter, we're in 2 Samuel chapter 24. And verse 10 of 2 Samuel chapter 24 reads, "And David's heart smote him after that he had numbered the people. And David said unto Yah, I have sinned greatly in that I have done, in what I have done, Let me reread that. And David said unto Yah, I have sinned greatly in that I have done. And now I beseech thee, O Yah, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly." So David is acknowledging that when his heart smote him after he had numbered the people. And he told the Most High that he had sinned greatly in that which he has done in numbering the people. Okay, verse 11. "For when David was up in the morning, the word of Yah came unto the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying." So Gad is the prophet that actually ministered unto David. So he was the go-between between David and the Most High, so to speak. Verse 12. "Go and say unto David." This is the Most High speaking directly to Gad on what Gad is to go tell David. "Thus saith Yah, I offer thee 3 things. Choose thee one of them, that I may do it unto thee." So David had sinned in numbering the people. But keep in mind, the Most High put a spirit on David to cause him to number the people. That caused him to number the people. All right, so I want you to see how all of this works. Okay, so the Most High is saying, I'm going to offer you 3 options in which I'm going to punish you and these people for what you've done. Okay? Now, let's go back to, let's jump to verse 13. "So Gad came to David and told him and said unto him, Shall 7 years of famine come unto thee in thy land?" Do you want 7 years of famine? "Or wilt thou flee 3 months before thine enemies while they pursue thee?" So you want 7 years of famine? Do you want to be chased by your enemies for 3 months while they're chasing after you? And the third option was, "Or that there be 3 days of pestilence in the land." So those are the 3 choices that the Most High had told Gad to present to David, for him to choose one of those 3, that he may be punished, that there may be some judgment for him breaking the Most High's commandment in causing a numbering of the people. "Now advise and see what answer I shall return to him that sent me." All right, verse 14. "And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait." He's troubled. "Let us fall now into the hands of Yah, for his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hand of man." So David understood clearly that though he had transgressed the Most High's laws by numbering the people, something he should not have done, and he was presented with these 3 choices, that the Most High was going to stick it to him for what he has done. But David understood clearly that the hearts of men are wicked. So what he would rather do would he doesn't want to be pursued by his enemies for 3 months. He knew good and well if he would just fall into the hands of the Most High and he would make his supplication towards the Most High and atone for his sins, that the Most High will have mercy upon him. You're still going to get punished. However, the Most High will have mercy upon you for the simple fact that you are of a contrite spirit and you are acknowledging your faults and you're turning to him who has brought that evil upon you and upon your house. You turn to no one else. Okay? Now, verse 15. So Yah sent a pestilence upon Israel from the morning even to the time appointed, and there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men. Now, can you imagine that? 70,000 people died, all because the governor did something that he wasn't supposed to do. Now, keep in mind the Most High's spirit, he was angry. His anger was kindled against the children of Israel. So David is being used in this process to bring judgment upon Israel, the people. And that's why 70,000 people were killed. All right. So you understand the context of this story. Now, verse 16. And when the angel stretched out his hands upon Jerusalem to destroy it. Now, understand that the Most High will send an evil to protect you. The Most High will send an evil to destroy you. The Most High is responsible for both good and evil. Do not blaspheme the Most High with some madness, talking about Satan did this and the devil did that and all this other manner of nonsense that you are taught in these Christian churches. The Most High is responsible for both good and evil whenever or wherever you may see it. Now, back to chapter 16. And when the angel stretched out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy it, Yah repented him of the evil and said to the angel that destroyed the people, and an angel killed them, those 70,000. And the Most High said, it is enough. Stay now thine hand. And the angel of Yah was by the threshing place of Araunah the Jebusite. Okay, so this place is where David built an altar to atone for what he had done once he had bought the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. But you see here where the angel of the Most High is the one that destroyed 70,000 Israelites after they were numbered by Governor David. Also, you will read, and I've read to you in times past on many of the lessons, where as Israel became wicked and they were going up to these groves and worshiping these idols and building these eminent high places, and they were tolerant of homosexuality. They were tolerant of hypocrisy. They were tolerant of the idolater. They were tolerant of the whores. They were tolerant of the lying. They were tolerant of the stealing, in all things that were contrary to the Most High. The Most High caused an angel to go through the city and to put a mark on all those Israelites who were tired and disgusted for the wickedness that they saw in the land. And then the angel went through and smote all of those, all the men that were righteous had their weapon with them, and went through and smote all the people that did not have that mark. So understand that the angel of the Most High will kill you. Understand that when we were moving through the wilderness and Moshe asked the Most High, oh, well, are you going to come with us? Will you go before us in this journey? The Most High say, no, I will not go before you because I kill all of you in the way. But what I will do, I will send my angel before you. My spirit is in him. Do not provoke him. Okay, he will not pardon it. So understand that the very angel that protects you, you step out of line, he will kill you or destroy you. And that's why the Most High reiterated to Moshe, I'm not going with you because this group is so rebellious and so stubborn against my word. I kill y'all. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I will send my angel before you. My spirit is within him. Do not provoke him, for he will not pardon it. So you understand that the Most High by no means is a plaything. And this is to be taken seriously as it pertains to being in adherence to his word. Verse 17. And David spake unto Yah when he saw the angel that smote the people. An angel killed these people. Who sent the angel to do this evil unto this people? No one but the Most High himself. All right. So once again, verse 17. And David spake unto Yah when he saw the angel that smote the people, and said, Lo, I have sinned, and I have done wickedly. He was not to cause Joab to number those people. Okay. I have sinned, I have done wickedly. But these sheep, the people, because David is a shepherd, he is instructed or anointed to lead the people. David is one of the Most High's anointed. So he is the shepherd, and the sheep is the whole family of Israel. He is to lead them. So he's saying, these sheep, these people, what have they done? Let thine hand, I pray thee, be against me and against my father's house. So David understood where his error was. He acknowledged his fault, and he sought to carry the load of Israel upon his shoulders. And that's what a righteous leader should do. But keep in mind, the reason why the Most High broke the people off is because what we read in verse 1. The Most High, his spirit, okay, he was kindled against all Israel. He was upset with the people from the jump. And that's why all of this took place. That's why this evil was brought upon the children of Israel, because they were not doing the things that they were instructed to do. All right. Now, let's go back to Samuel, to 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 19. 1 Samuel chapter 19, and we will read verse 9. And 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 9 reads, And the evil spirit from Yah was upon Saul. Let me read that again. And the evil spirit from Yah, not from Satan, from the Most High Yah, was upon Saul. And he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hands. So the Most High caused an evil spirit to be upon Saul, and the only way that the spirit of Saul would be quieted was when David played that harp for him. Okay? So the Most High brought that evil spirit upon Saul. Now, let's move over to Judges. Let's move to Judges chapter 9. Judges chapter 9. Judges chapter 9, and we'll read verse 23. And verse 23 of Judges chapter 9 reads, Then Yah sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem, and the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech. So the Most High can send an evil spirit upon someone and cause that someone to deal treacherously with you. All right, so we see clearly here where you will read throughout this book where the Most High sent an evil angel to do such and such, to destroy some people. You will see where the Most High put evil spirits upon other people to do certain things, to get certain acts done. So you'll never read here wherein Satan put an evil spirit on such and such, or any of that nonsense. You will not read that. Not in this Torah. It's not here. Okay? Now, let's move over to, let's go to Psalms, the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms, and we will deal with chapter 78. Book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse 49. The book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse 49 reads, He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble, by sending evil angels among them. Let me reread that for those of you who think that evil angels fell out of the sky and Satan was this evil angel and they got cast out of heaven, and that the Most High has absolutely no control over man. He has no control over the very angels that he created. The God that these Christians believe in have absolutely no power at all. He can't control man. He can't control his angels. He has no kind of law and order. It's just a free-for-all with their God. Not so with the strong one of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There is no renegade, gangster, thugged out angel. There's no such thing. Okay? Once again, we're in Psalms chapter 78, verse 49. Let me reread that again. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble, by sending evil angels, more than one, among them. Let that sink into those of you who believe some evil angels got cast out of the sky and they all of a sudden form some kind of evil angel army against the Most High. That's nonsense. It cannot be established nowhere within this Torah. From Genesis to Malachi, no such thing exists. Get that nonsense out of your head and out of your mind. Job. Let's move to the book of Job. The book of Job, and we will deal with chapter 2. The book of Job, chapter 2, we will read verse 10. And when you're reading Job, you have to read Job with a sense of discernment. If you read Job and you have that idol before you, you will be confused, you'll be confounded, you will be lost. You will not understand any of this thing. When you read this book, you have to take in totality and take into consideration all the other books from Genesis to Malachi, and you will clearly understand what is happening. Now, dealing with Job. Job chapter 2, verse 10 reads, But he said unto her, this is Job speaking unto his wife, after she told Job to curse the Most High and die. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of Yah? And shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. So Job is saying to his wife that she's speaking as a foolish woman, as a stupid woman. Do you think that we can only receive good from the Most High and not evil? So Job clearly understands at this point. We are in Job chapter 2. Job already knows that it's the Most High breaking him off. He knows that. It ain't Satan doing it. It's the Most High beating his head in. And he knows this. And he will acknowledge this in his latter end when things are restored back unto him. Once he acknowledges his error in the fact that he had become prideful and the Most High had to humble him to let him know what time it was. All right. And once he acknowledged his faults, then and only then had the Most High restored that which he had and more. But Job had to first acknowledge his error first in trying to, make himself blameless, so to speak. He couldn't understand why he was being beat up on because he felt as though he was so righteous. And the Most High had to put him in his place. And when Job acknowledged his faults, then the Most High returned back onto him, or restored back onto him, that which he had before and more. But it's the Most High that troubled Job, that brought all of that evil upon Job. It was not Satan. Now, let's go ahead and verify that. All right. We're in Job chapter 42. Move on over to chapter 42. Chapter 42 of Job. And we will read verse 11. And verse 11 of Job chapter 42 reads, Then came there unto him all his brethren, and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house. And they bemoaned him and comforted him, listen very carefully, over all the evil that Yah had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one an earring of gold. So, his family members, his buddies, his friends, his acquaintances, all the people that knew him, that saw what the Most High brought upon him, upon that man acknowledging his faults, turning to the Most High, asking for forgiveness, and doing all the things necessary to get the Most High off you. All right, when he's beating you down, once Job did these things, then the Most High extended his tender mercies towards Job and caused him to be restored of all the things that he had and more. So what I'm trying to read to you here is, it is the Most High that broke Job off. If you are troubled right now, whether it be in your house, you have to fight people on your job, you're just troubled anywhere in life, the Most High is bringing this trouble upon you. If you want it gone, turn, face Jerusalem, lift your hands in prayer, acknowledge your faults. Now, let me be clear with this. Sometimes you're being afflicted, sometimes you're being punished, but you have no idea why this thing is happening to you. It could be something that you're doing. It could be something that you're not doing. And it also can be something that's indirectly related to you. What do I mean by that? You may not be doing something per se. Let's take, for example, Eli. Eli, the priest. He had two sons, Hophni and Phinehas. These men were doing all manner of wickedness. And these are sons of the priest, these Levites. They were walking contrary to the Most High's instruction, jacking folks for the sacrifices, doing all manner of foul things that a Levite is not supposed to do. However, Eli was not doing these things, but he got the report of what his sons were doing. Instead of him reprimanding them, he kind of let it slide. So he put his sons before the Most High. Big no-no, big sin. We're to put nothing, no one, anyone, anything before the Most High. So when we decide to allow our children, our friends, our wives, and our husbands, or anyone like that, any of your family members, you allow them to sin against the Most High, and you turn a blind eye. Well, I didn't see that. I didn't hear that. I don't know that. When you start doing these things, the Most High said he will set his face against that man and his house. So, if you see that the Most High has sent evil after you in your house, and that he has set his face against you and your house, then you got to ask yourself, is this something that I'm doing directly? Or am I being tolerant? Am I the one being an accomplice to a thing that is evil in the sight of the Most High? And therefore, me being in party to this is the reason why I'm getting my head busted on a daily basis. So these are some of the things that you have to consider when you find yourself troubled in any manner. Kind of look at what you're doing, look at what you're accepting of, and maybe you're a party or an accomplice to some type of wickedness that you're acting like you didn't see or you didn't hear. And if you're doing these things, the Most High said clearly, he will set his face against you and against your house, and you will be troubled. Evil will befall you. All right. Now, we will finish up with this. That concludes this lesson pertaining to Yah is responsible for both good and evil. Yah creates both good and evil. It is simple as that. There is no Satan figure floating around arbitrarily through the skies, bouncing between the skies and the heaven and down in the ground with a pitchfork and a tail, or no garbage like that. These are myths, Christian myth, nonsense. Now, let's look at this. The house of Israel, Upon Israel sinning and being scattered to the four corners of the earth, the Most High said he would send evil after us. Sword, which is death, in all of its manifestations, whether it be by poisoning, whether it be by war, whether by gun, whether by rope hanging, whether by medical experiments, etc. He was going to send that after us. Terror, he was going to send terror after us. He was going to send the noisome beast. He was going to send these pestilence. He was going to send the dearth, the famine, and the lack of everything that we would essentially need. And that is the Most High sending evil after us. At no time did you hear that the Most High was going to send Satan after us, or he was going to call up Satan to send some evil after us. The Most High sent evil after the children of Israel once we were scattered into the four corners of the earth. So, stop complaining and crying to your enemies. They cannot help you. Let me say that again. We are crying to the Europeans who are oppressing us. We're asking him for mercy. We are marching and begging him for justice. I want you to keep these things in mind. I've said it before in previous videos. A father teaches his son. I would also like you to keep in mind that a man cannot teach that which he does not know. I cannot give you that which I do not have possession of. And I say that to say this. In America, our people had to march, beg, plead, and died for civil rights. Our oppressors are uncivil people as a collective. If they were not uncivil, we would not have had to die and beg them for civil rights. And in us seeking righteousness from them, they killed us just for that. So these people are your enemies indeed, and they know not righteousness. Keep in mind, righteousness and the Most High's law brings about peace. These people have never had peace because they have never walked in the Most High's law. So when you turn to him asking for peace, justice, righteousness, equality, equity, he can't give it to you. He has no idea what it is. He killed you, he killed us when we asked for civil rights. If that does not point out to you that you're dealing with an evil group of people, I don't know what will. These are your enemies. You are sent to your enemies. You are always to be mindful of that. Do not turn to them for anything, because that which we seek, they do not possess. That is righteousness. That is equity. That is justice. That is judgment. We can't get it from them. They don't know what it is. So, what are we to do? We are to turn to the Most High for all of these things, because he possesses all of them. He's the one that's going to give it, and he's the one that's going to take it away. Not anyone else, not any man breathing. So when we are dealing with these strifes, and we're dealing with these afflictions, and the stripes and the strife, we're to turn to the Most High and the Most High alone. You can't turn to your enemies to help you. They have been placed here to hurt you, to bring evil to you. So you can't turn to him for any kind of righteousness or equity. He doesn't know what it is. So let's keep those things in mind. Now, as it pertains to the Most High being responsible for both good and evil, let's take a short look at Ahaz. You should remember the story of Ahaz, all right? Letting you know that whole story is covered in a video that I've done years ago called Who's Emmanuel? Emmanuel, who is he? Okay, so Emmanuel was the son of Isaiah, the second son of Isaiah, that was sent to give Ahaz confirmation that the two kings that came against him, or the two governors that came against him, would not stand. Now, How was the Most High able to tell Ahaz that Pekah and Rezin would not stand against him? Keep in mind, Ahaz is in the south. Those of you who remember the story. Okay, Pekah and Rezin are one of the king of Syria and one is the king of Israel, the north. So the Most High told Ahaz that these two kings, these two governors, they have a plan to come down here and do evil towards you, but it's not going to stand. So the Most High is telling Ahaz, they place your trust in me in this area because these two kings have an evil plan or an evil plot to come down here in Judah and remove you and these people. But it's not going to stand. So the question now is first of all, how did this take place? For these two nations, the northern kingdom and Syria, to move against Ahaz. Who caused that? Who caused these two kings to come together with an evil report to go down and try to remove Ahaz, the governor of Judah at that time, the governor of the south? Let's take a look at that. Let's go to 2 Kings. This will be the last part of this whole lesson. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 15, verse 37. 2 Kings chapter 15. 2 Kings chapter 15, verse 37. So let's see exactly how these two kings, the king of Syria and the king of Israel up in the north, how did it happen that those two came together to go against Ahaz down in the south? Who caused that? All right. We're in 2 Kings chapter 15, and we will be reading verse 37. Now, verse 37 reads, in those days, Yah, that's the Most High, the strong one of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, began to send against Judah, Judah being the south, Judah being Ahaz. So once again, 2 Kings chapter 15, verse 37. In those days, Yah began to send against Judah, who is Ahaz. He sent Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah. So, the cause of Ahaz's struggle, his strife, was because the Most High himself moved both Pekah and Rezin to come against the south Jerusalem. So once again, consider your ways and your doings and make it good. When you are in strife, when you are in affliction, when your spirit is troubled, you are to turn to the Most High, for there is something that you are doing that is not pleasing to the Most High. And this thing may be done in ignorance. You may not know. And if you don't know, then you face Jerusalem, lift your hands in prayer, ask the Most High to show you where you are in error, asking for an opportunity that you may be able to correct your ways and relieve that strife and affliction and that trouble from your person or from your house. Okay, so let's not get into this Satan theory thing that's a myth of these Christians. They're all about ghosts and goblins. All right, the Most High is doing it all. He's responsible for all of your success. He's responsible for your failures too. Okay, but keep in mind, you bear responsibility for all that you attain or don't attain based on your actions pertaining to this very law. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Continue to walk in these laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts is your only protection. It is your only protection to put on this breastplate of righteousness and to walk in this law. And the protection that you may need from the coronavirus or from a man killing you in the street or any other evil befalling you, your protection from that is the Most High. Because when you see these plagues and anything else, it is the Most High moving against the inhabitants of the earth. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Peace, Israel.